Okay, so in this tutorial we're going to talk a little about inking with our pens. Sometimes they're referred to as mechanical pens or technical pens, art pens even. What they are is they are harder tips, so they give you an even line. And with a brush, the harder you press, the thicker the line, the lighter you press, the thinner the line. Well, with a technical pen, um, it's not that way. It's going to be the same thickness of line all the way through. So in art terms, brushes, because they create thick, thin lines based off of your pressure, it's called an organic line. And because technical pens create an even line, even weighted line, then it's called an inorganic line. So it's the opposite. You can use the technical pens if you want to create the illusion of an organic line by just going over an area twice, and you can add a little thickness and to it, or you can use a thin line first and then go over it with a heavier pen, and you can create the illusion. It's kind of double the work, but just not everybody's good with brushes. The brush pen that I have been using of lately is called a Kuretake, and I love it. And it's a brush pen, but it's got a little firmness to the brush, so but it works like a brush pen. And then standard technical pens that I use are Faber-Castell's Pitt pens. Copic is really good as well. But these are just the ones that I use, and they come in sets, or you can buy them individually. Like I have my big brush pen for Faber-Castell for when we want to do large areas, and extra small if I want to do fine lines and fine details, and a medium thickness line, and then I have a 1.5 for really thick key lines sometimes. But I would recommend that, and you can usually do it in your art stores. You can pop the cap off and draw on a scrap paper that they have to see the thickness of the line for you. So it's just, we usually use these kind of pens to ink inorganic things, machines, buildings, and stuff like that. But it's not uncommon to use them to ink organic things like humans and figures and stuff like that. I tend to use my Kuretake for a lot of that kind of stuff, so I can create a thick, thin line. But with practice, you can create thick, thin lines. With technical pens, you just got to double the line, or use a thin line and go over it with a thick line, or just go over it twice in some areas with your thin line. But that's pretty much your technical pens, and using them for your drawings and illustrations.